Welcome to this week's episode of the Lido Loop, where we talk about all things cruising, theme parks, and any other travel-related news. I'm your host, Jack McCaw. With me, as always, my good friend, Jesse Barboza, who, by the way, is not liking this Texas heat, huh, Jesse?
I've definitely been alive for 33 years now, and you still never really get used to it.
No, like you said, we've lived here majority, if not all of our lives. Summer comes, it's in the 100 degrees, it's only the end of June. We still have 2 more months of this sweltering heat. I bet you are very excited to get out of this heat and go on your next cruise.
Yep. We're from recording this podcast, we're exactly 83 days until Jubilee cruise.
Hey, that means only 83 more sleeps until you're back on a cruise. But speaking of cruises, what's the latest and greatest in the cruise world?
Yeah, so we're going to go over how Carnival's doing financially after their new rewards program. The Legend of the Seas inaugural cruise will be on the day this podcast comes out, which is 6/29. Also, Carnival released a limited edition bourbon.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear about that bourbon. But in the other side of things, on the theme park side, Tormenta at Six Flags Over Texas has been delayed after it announced an opening date. It was supposed to open this weekend. It's no longer opening. A 13-year-old falls down from Tiana's Bayou adventure at Disneyland, and Disney is now offering discounts for August through October for both Animal Kingdom and Epcot. That and Jesse and I break down some of our least favorite things about going on a cruise. So we have a top 10 list of bad cruise etiquette. That, much more on this week's episode of The Lido Loop. So kicking off the show like we always like to do, we want to talk about the latest and greatest in the cruise world. And Jesse, how is Carnival doing financially after their new rewards program?
Yeah, so as many of y'all may know, so Carnival is now switching over from the VIFP program to pretty much a paid program, which is the new rewards program. It's pretty much based on how much money you spend is what status you are, which honestly a lot of airlines do this now and other stuff do this, but this is a first cruise company that's actually doing this. But as of so far, since Carnival appears to be doing very well financially, and there's actually no indication that Carnival Rewards program has hurt their bookings or the revenues. But this is some of the stuff that I see looking at it. Right now, Carnival are having a bunch of your points are worth 2 or 3 times as much so that you get your status in September. Because if you get your diamond status by September, you're diamond for life. You don't have to worry about getting
that diamond doesn't go away, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So, but what they're saying is that Carnival has announced it has reached its long-term 2026 financial goals 18 months earlier than expected. That is a long time.
I mean, anytime you achieve your goals that early is definitely a good sign. And I know that you and I kind of had a little bit of pushback when they were unveiling this new rewards program, but it does seem to be working, and it's a model that makes sense. You pay more, you get more, and I mean, it's basic business, but it seems like Carnival is really doing much better with this model than they were in their previous model. Would you say so?
Yes, I guess you could say that. Especially what I feel like what's going to end up happening is casinos are going to get more packed now too, because any money you spend in the casino will affect your status as well. So if you cycle $1,000 through the slot machine, that is $1,000 that goes towards the pay to play program.
I mean, honestly, that's probably how that they got this much money, is because now that they're counting that casino money towards the rewards. I mean, you're going to spend money in the casino anyway, and now the people have that much more incentive to spend money at the casino because they're going to get better rewards from Carnival as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, I now no longer follow a particular cruise line. I'm just going to, whatever cruise I feel like going on for either looking at the price or the destination, that's what my first goal is. I'm not going to follow the status at all.
Except for NCL, because you don't want to spend, $50 to go see a show, right?
Well, yeah, I definitely won't pay $50 to see any show. Once I'm on a cruise ship, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty cheap. So once I get on the ship, I'm not spending money on anything.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show when we talk about things we dislike about cruising. But in other cruise news, how about the Legend of the Seas inaugural cruise? And at the time of this recording, it's going to be setting sail. Jesse, what's the latest on that one?
Yes. So the day this podcast actually comes out, it will be the first inaugural cruise for Legend of the Seas. Where this is a little different than the other Icon class ships because when this one comes out, it will have its first inaugural summer in Europe. This summer, it will sail a 7-night Western Mediterranean cruise departing from Barcelona and Rome. I know there's a bunch of influencers. Most of the time, there are a bunch of influencers that goes on these cruises, and they do reviews of all the latest and greatest things that happen on these cruise ships. But after the Europe season, Legend will be repositioned to Fort Lauderdale in this coming November, where it will begin 6, 7, and 8 Caribbean cruises. Some will visit, Perfect Day Mexico, or not. I'm sorry, not Perfect Day Mexico. Perfect Day at Coco Cay. Perfect Day Mexico might not even be a thing.
No, yeah, we just talked about Perfect Day Mexico a lot, and as of right now, nothing's happening there, so it's dead. But who knows? Maybe it might come up from the ashes. But where else is it visiting, Jesse?
Just mainly like Western and Southern Caribbean itineraries. So I know this ship is almost identical to the other ships, the Star of the Seas and the original Icon. So far, like you can actually see you have the exact same experience as the other ones. They still will have the Cat 6, largest water park at sea. They got the Crown Edge Skywalk and Ropes course, the Aquadome entertainment venue, Surfside neighborhood designed for young families, 7 pools and more than 40 dining and drinking venues. Isn't that crazy? 40 dining and drinking venues.
I was going to say that could hold a whole lot of people, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be a really fun ship to be on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're also going to have ice skating, surfing simulators, and massive entertainment spaces. So next year, actually, we do plan on getting on Icon of the Seas. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this. I know this is a different ship, but it's almost like a copycat of the exact same ship.
I wonder where they're going to put the ice skating rink, because there's no way they can put it on their Royal Caribbean's version of the Lido deck is. That'd probably be a mini one in the lobby, you would think.
No, it's actually bigger than you think. They do a lot of how like Disney on Ice, they do shows like that. They do shows similar to that, but Royal Caribbean on Ice.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just on the ocean and on ice, just in the theater. Makes sense. I mean, yeah, this definitely sounds like a very interesting ship. I have always also wanted to go on a Royal Caribbean ship, and got a friend that always goes on the Icon class ships out of Cape Canaveral or elsewhere in Florida. So it's nice that we are getting those Icon class ships coming in next year. Who's to say? I'm probably will be going there with you, but just another feather in Royal Caribbean's cap to top off another great cruise ship. But on a more of a low light. Jesse, let's talk about Carnival's limited edition bourbon. Now, just off the top of your head, what do you think it tastes like?
Yeah, it definitely probably tastes like fights on the Lido deck.
Oh my goodness. We'll get to that later in this episode, but yeah, if y'all missed it, there was a pretty big fight that happened at a Carnival cruise port. Yeah, I think fights would be a very appropriate Carnival, flavor. That in the saltwater pool, leftover pizza left behind in the stairwell, and of course losing your money in the casino. I mean, is that not the Carnival experience for you right there?
Yeah, so Carnival Cruise Line, they have partnered with Starboard. It's like their onboard retailer operation, and Diageo to release an exclusive single barrel bullet bourbon in celebration of America's 250th anniversary, and this year, of course, in 2026. It's a limited edition bottle that you can only buy on board select Carnival ships. So kind of what's special about it, it's a single barrel selection, meaning every bottle actually comes from a carefully chosen barrel rather than just like all being poured in and then individually put in bottles. The barrel was personally selected by Carnival President Christy Duffy and Starboard CEO Lisa Bauer earlier this year. According to Carnival, it features bright fruit and floral aromas, subtle spice, and smooth finish. You can actually right now you can get it exclusively on 14 Carnival ships this summer, which is Celebration, Jubilee, Horizon, Venetia, Firenze, Dream, Magic, Legend, Pride, Miracle, Freedom, Sunrise, and Sunshine. Apparently, the price is going to be $59.99, which is, I guess, normal what you would get on a ship.
So 2 questions come to mind. One, is this one of those that you can purchase in the store, but you can only pick up after the ship is, docked and you're off board? Would you say that, Jesse?
Yeah, that's correct. You would still, purchase it like you normally if you buy a bottle of Jack Daniels or Crown or whatever, and you would get it the last day of the cruise, and just pick it up then.
Okay, that makes sense. And the second, would you be purchasing this? I know you're a collector of, cruise merchandise, and having a bottle of Carnival bourbon would definitely be nice to go in your liquor cabinet, wouldn't you say?
Well, I definitely think it's better than like getting like a T-shirt or magnet. I mean, I would definitely rather buy an exclusive bottle of bourbon, and no reason to drink it or anything.
But you have, you never. But it'd be nice to have, just including just like a showcase piece, for your collection. And you might try it, and you might actually like it. The ingredients you said does sound like it could be a pretty smooth tasting bourbon. And will you be trying this on the Jubilee when you go?
Yeah, I mean, if they sample it, yeah. But I don't think, they didn't say, but I doubt it. They're actually going to have it like serving it at the bars, which would be good if they do. I think they should, at least for tasting purposes. But since it's like a certain selection, I'm sure there's a limited number of bottles that they're probably not going to want to sample it.
I don't know. Do you think people will come in and out and just try to sample the whiskey samples and keep coming back? I mean,
hey, you don't have to buy a drink package if you do that.
I was going to say that could be a cruise hack, just to sample the Carnival exclusive bourbon. So a little bit of housekeeping news before we get to theme park news is that going forward, we are going to transition from exclusively theme park news to more of a theme park and travel news. Now, we understand that there are certain times of the week where theme park news isn't as prevalent, but we still want to give you like the big news. I understand from, just a podcast listener's perspective, we've been kind of keeping it local with Texas. And, Texas has been making news with the additions of Werewolf Gorge, not Werewolf George, of course, Tormenta and the Universal Kids, and then, the Iron Shark incidents that happened. But we also want to talk a little bit more about Universal and Disney, because we understand that most of you, when you're going on vacation, you're going to those places, not necessarily Texas parks. So, appreciate the listening, but we just want to let you know going forward what we're going to, talk about as far as this segment goes. But, this week's episode will be mostly theme park. And Jesse, Tormenta's down again. And it's, comes just on the heels of Six Flags Over Texas announcing an opening date of June 26th. It's June 28th and the ride's not open. Why is that? Well, apparently during testing, the ride wasn't operating at what they consider as 100% capacity. So at this point in time, Six Flags has announced that they are going to delay the opening until further notice. Now, Jesse, me personally, I read that as something happened during testing that they're not saying. Do you kind of agree with that statement?
Absolutely. I guarantee a dummy died.
Dummy died. Yeah, the dummy fell right out. Well, I mean, I think it's better this way if, they want to make sure the ride is safe for everybody and is operating at 100% than if they opened it early to rush just so they could sell more merchandise and get the influencers in. It's kind of a good thing for us because I wasn't going to be able to go to that opening. Now I might be able to once it does actually open. So, we'll keep you updated on all the Tormenta news. That is one of our closer parks. So we're still going to be able to keep you up with that.
So have they officially given a date when it's going to open yet?
Not yet. So my gut says because if it was that close to opening in June, they might open it towards the end of July, maybe a month or if not early August. It would behoove Six Flags Over Texas to open it during the summertime because that's when peak crowds are.
Exactly. That's when most people are going to be there.
I mean, yeah, because you've been to Dallas and Arlington in the winter time. It gets colder, and not as many rides are up to capacity by that point in time. I mean, they'll still be open, but with much more limited crowd.
So another crazy story. So a 13-year-old falls down from Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Yes. So for those that haven't heard the story, this happened at Disneyland, and so I want to preface this by saying I'm glad the kid is okay, but what the heck was he doing jumping out of the moving log? And Jesse, you were telling me something off air that I wasn't actually able to read, that apparently this kid was scared of the drop, so he got off of the ride and just, what was he going to do? Walk down?
I guess, I don't know. I saw him wait, and then as soon as the was a log?
Yeah,
right?
we'll call it a log.
We'll call it a log. Came down, he fell down right after it, and honestly, it looked like someone that could die off of this.
So the reason I think he's even okay is because how he fell, it looked like he fell with the water instead of just falling straight down. And, it is an angle drop, so he probably fell down.
So more like a slide.
Exactly.
Like
it was a water slide, but except he was like tumbling. It looked like he rolled forward.
I guarantee you he was more scared on that fall than he would have been just going down it.
There are worse drops out there, guys. I mean, yeah, I understand not everyone is a big theme park fan and they don't hit like the drops and loops like we do, but really it's Tiana's.
So I actually got two questions on this. Have they reopened this?
Yes, the ride was actually only closed for about an hour once they found out that there was nothing actually wrong with the ride and it was actually just someone got out of it. The ride opened up the same day and it functioned like normal.
Do you think going forward they will have additional safety measures in there, like an additional seatbelt? Like, is there currently a seatbelt right now, or what's holding the passengers back?
So the Tiana's Bayou Adventure at Disneyland, they don't have any sort of seatbelts. You get in the log and you just ride. So theoretically, yes, it's very easy to just get out of the log and get out. Unlike at Disney World at Magic Kingdom, where there's a lap bar. So, and that's because the logs are differently positioned. In Magic Kingdom, you sit 2 riders per row, and you fit a total of 8 people. Whereas at Disneyland, I think you can fit 5 or 6 people in a singular log, and you're just sitting, front to back. So when you go down, there's nowhere to go for you but forward. So in that instance, I think that the minimum that will happen is seatbelts. I was doing some research that they don't have in that particular kind of log. They don't have like restraints because of a safety issue, because if the log overturns.
Oh, that does make sense, but they should definitely have some type of safety mechanism for sure. Yeah.
Right, because like we said earlier, I mean, that kid got out of, he probably didn't have to try hard at all to get out, and there's plenty of walkways in the Tiana's Bayou Adventure that, he could, I think he was just looking for an exit, but
he did found the exit.
Yeah, one of them. The other thing that was talked about was that they could have a cast member at the top of the ride. I know, this is kind of a me and you thing, but how at the Bugs Bunny log flume ride at Fiesta Texas, there's someone there that waves at you before you go down the big drop.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe they should have a cast member.
I would say, just have them dressed up in the, a costume appropriate to fit the theme. But Disney will do its best to ensure the guest safety, that this doesn't happen again. Or maybe just even a quicker response time for someone gets out, just immediately shut down the ride, which in my previous Disney trip, that happened to us where we actually were evacuated off. Probably not because someone jumped off the ride, but something else happened. So, yeah, it was definitely a crazy story. And like I said, I'm glad the kid's okay, but I mean, that kid's got to be banned from Disney, right?
He definitely should be. So in other Disney news, apparently Disney is offering discounts in August for both Animal Kingdom and Epcot. And why isn't Magic Kingdom included in this?
Because people will go to Magic Kingdom regardless of how much money it is. So Disney sometimes does offer these summer discounts. Like right now they're offering the Cool Kids Summer, where kids are actually able to get into the parks for significant discounts starting at about $50 a day, depending on how many days you go. But what about the adults, you say? Well, they're going to have to pay full price to get into Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. But let's say you've already done Magic Kingdom a bunch of times in Hollywood Studios already, and you want to go to Epcot or Animal Kingdom. Disney is now offering a 2-day, 2-park ticket. And this is officially on Walt Disney World's website, by the way. You can't get this anywhere else. For only $199 plus tax. Now, Jesse, it costs me about $350 to do one park per day back in February. This deal is a much better deal. I understand it's not Magic Kingdom and not Hollywood Studios, so you're essentially going to the quote lesser parks. But as someone who's never been to Epcot and someone who hasn't been to Animal Kingdom since before COVID, I would definitely be interested in this. And
So, how long is this deal supposed to go through?
it's supposed to go from August 3rd through September 30th. It must be used within 4 days of the selected date. So essentially, anytime you buy a Disney ticket, you're given a 4-day window. So you can always go the day you purchase it and up to 3 days after. And of course, it's one park per day. So you would have to go to only Epcot and only Animal Kingdom on certain days. I was actually looking at this in August. And of course, that's the hottest month of the year in Florida. Does that decentivize you a little bit? Like, that's a $200 for 2 days at Disney is essentially a steal, but going in August is not exactly the best time to go. Would you agree?
Yeah, I definitely 100% agree. Unless there's got multiple cooling stations or a bunch of shade, it's definitely got to be miserable.
Well, Epcot does have Club Coke, which, you've been to Vegas, you've been to that Coke world. It's essentially the same thing. So, you can get your Beverly and your Korean barbecue sauce Cokes there. So that's the one way to stay cool. And the one good thing I will say about Epcot, though, and looking at you, Universal, they have a whole lot more indoor things to do and a lot of dark rides as well. So there are plenty of ways to keep cool during the summertime there. Animal Kingdom is a little bit different. It's more so a zoo but they still have very good rides and shows. You have Pandora, the world of Avatar, is probably one of, if not the most beautiful lands in all of the Disney World complex. Expedition Everest at one point was the best roller coaster. I would still say it's Rock and Roller Coaster, starring the Muppets now.
Oh my! Stop bringing the Muppet up.
It's like it's over. No more Muppets. But there is a little bit less to do at Animal Kingdom than there is at the other parks. But I would still say I would recommend trying it at least once. And I would still say that this is, all things considered, a very good deal, considering Disney will rob you blind if you just go on a regular deal. And just to kind of put a little bit into perspective, if you did this trip without paying for this discount, you would spend $350 to go to just Epcot and just Animal Kingdom. Whereas if you do it with this deal, it's only $199 a person. And that'll do it for the theme park news. But now there's a top 10 list that Jesse and I have compiled about cruise etiquette. Now, Jesse, when you think of bad cruise etiquette, what is one of the things that you think of?
The first thing is we talked about recently is chair hogging at the pool. There's so many people who will wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever time, and they put their towels down, then just go throughout their day, never come back until whenever they feel like coming back, which could be 4, 5. Shoot, they may never come back. They may come back just to pick up their towels, but all they do is just hog the chair where no one else can sit there who actually want to enjoy the pool. I think that's probably the most like the biggest issue that drives me crazy, especially because you can't get a chair by the pool or anything like that.
Yeah, those are always the first ones taken, or a pool, or any chair in front of like the big TV that they have out there, especially if there's a movie going on or they're playing a game or something. It's in anything that's over by the top of the Lido deck. I just don't understand why those get taken. Well, I understand why they get taken. I understand why people just want to leave their stuff there. And like you said, that would probably be one of my biggest pet peeves as well, especially if you're going with a group of people and you want to sit all next to each other. There could be a towel on a random chair and there's 2 here, towel separating it, 2 there. You have to almost go to the back of the ship. And even then, those are taken as well. So we talked about it in a previous topic where Norwegian Cruise Line is putting stickers on there as kind of a quote warning, and that's something I kind of wish that more cruises would do, just to decentivize people from doing that. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely need to come up. There is a little trick I have come up with that you can beat this bad cruise etiquette. Is all you do is this: if you see like a lounger or whatever and that you want, and that has been sitting there for 20, 30 minutes and no one's even looked at it, all you do is you get all their stuff and just set it down on a different lounger all together. And if they say anything, say, "Oh, the workers, they moved your stuff because it was sitting there for too long," and then you just got out scot free.
I mean, that is one way to do it. You could just put it on the floor and say tough luck. I mean, that's the more aggressive way to do it. But I like your way. It's a little bit nicer, a little bit more. And who's to say they won't even notice that? Oh, I thought it was on this particular chair, but I must have put it on that chair.
Yeah, you never know.
How about, speaking of hogging, casinos, when you hog a machine and you're not there, you spin the chair around, you put it underneath the machine, and then you walk away and come back to it. Now, that's just more so casino etiquette. It does happen on cruises as well, but that's something that drives me crazy, especially if I want to play, a Dragon Link game or Buffalo game. There's only so many of them. I mean, these people can't be hogging this machine the whole time. If you walk away, I think you should give up your seat.
Yeah, absolutely. There's different forms of, I guess, chair hogging. There's some people who just sit in where because they're watching their friend play or whatever, but they're sitting in a very popular slot machine and they're just watching the other person, and you're like, it feels kind of awkward. You're like, hey, I'm trying to play here, And then there's another one, like you're saying, they put the chair up. That is like the sign of, hey, I'm going to the restroom, I'm gonna be right back. But I've seen it like that for like over 30 minutes. Like, I don't know if they died in the restroom, but
they're praying to God in there. They had too much shrimp at the buffet.
They're probably going to the ATM to get more money.
Yeah, that's exactly. Oh, you're explaining Maddie, but I think that should be enforced. I mean, already these casino workers do enough, and they're trying to maintain these people's happiness. And when they see a chair, I mean, it's not like there's someone there with a timer. Same thing with like chairs on the Lido deck and any sort of like cruise deck. There's not people actively monitoring to see how long they're being used, so it's kind of hard for them to do something about it. But if you're reserving a chair, reserving of a slot machine at the casino, just have some courtesy. That's all that we ask. And also don't fight, because that brings up to point number 3 of, you and I have never personally seen this on a cruise ship. I mean, if you go to social media, look up cruise fights, they're everywhere.
Yeah, actually, like I remember the day we got last year on Jubilee, there was a huge cruise fight from the ship getting off that multiple people were arrested and all that. And when we actually talk about fighting, we don't talk about any particular cruise line Carnival, but yeah, it does seem like it does happen the most on Carnival ships.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know why that is, but Carnival, it does seem like negative press does follow them. So with Carnival, I mean, we can talk about the most recent thing that happened over at the port of Miami, where 16 people got banned, and we don't know what caused this altercation, but it was just a big fight that broke out during the immigration and customs debarkation area. And you never know. People are on vacation. They're stressed. Someone maybe forgot their passport. Who knows? But is it ever really necessary to take it that far,
It's definitely not. And this actually happened after the end, because since they're in immigration and customs, that's like after. So that definitely happened. They finished the cruise and on disembarkation day. So
were they that upset that their cruise ended? Usually you just cry. You're not over there trying to fight people.
Yeah, exactly. I just like sit there and cry, rolling a ball in the corner, and wish that I had just another 5 days.
I know you try to go back into your hibernation cabinet and think about your next cruise, which see that you're building outside right now. Yeah, guys, don't fight on cruise ships. Like, it's vacation. Everyone's there just to have fun. Another thing that by the way, I should preface this by saying this isn't in any particular order. We're just listing 10 things that, you shouldn't do on a cruise to have proper cruise etiquette. Another one is letting kids run down the halls and being loud. I mean, kids are on cruises, sometimes they're uncontrollable, but I mean, we've seen them like late at night. They're just running amok.
Yeah, I actually saw a video of kids running down the hallway and then just knocking on everyone's door, like in the middle of the night. And the people go sleep early. And that's got to be annoying to hear kids just running down the hallway. I like kids and all that, but I don't like them running down the hallways and being loud and not respecting other people.
And also, kids, they're always not aware of their surroundings. There was one kid who was, on his phone watching a video. He almost ran into a woman with a hot cup of coffee. And I thank God that, he didn't. But, luckily, the woman was okay, didn't get any coffee spilled on her. it's just also parents aren't exactly paying attention to their kids at all times of the cruises, and that's why they have the daycare for, so they can go let their energy out and then come back to dinner and then go to sleep at night. But cruising could also be the wild wild west, because where are these kids going to go? Like, they can leave their room and they can run around, but I mean, I know Carnival, aren't they initiating more of a curfew for younger kids now?
Well, yeah, they've always had curfew. I think it's anything past 11 o'clock, I want to say, or maybe at midnight. You have to be. You can still be out, but you have to be with your guardian.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I definitely agree with that 100%. I know kids may not like that, but you shouldn't. I mean, not like everyone says, nothing ever good happens past midnight, right?
I know the only thing open that late for kids to do is eat at Pizza Pirate.
It's not open anymore either. All they got is a midnight buffet now.
Oh man. We used to be Carnival used to be a proper cruise line. Now they got, chair hoggers, they got casino holders fighting, and not even 24-hour pizza anymore. Speaking of food, how about wasting food? And I get it. You build your plate up to gigantic proportions because you're on a cruise and you want to eat everything. But how many times have you seen someone do that and then leave behind like an entire buffet plate full of food for the poor worker to have to clean up?
Yeah, that is kind of ridiculous because, like, I mean, yes, everything's included, but come on, like, be respectful for others. If it keeps happening, if everyone did that, they would just start increasing the price of the cruise to cover the cost of the food, right?
Yeah, what was a cruise ship line that we were talking about where they were going to start adding a cleaning fee?
Yeah, that was actually Costa, which is actually a Carnival company that's under their umbrella. So, hey, if people keep doing it, they may implement that actually on the Carnival ship. So, hey, don't waste food.
To be honest, could 100% see that. I mean, and then another thing that we could talk about is, instead of wasting food, how about leaving plates in the stairways and the elevators? Like, they leave plates everywhere. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just wanting to know, like, at their house if they do the same. Like, do they just
has to be?
Do they like, oh, I'm done with this? Oh, elevator or the stairs sounds like a good place. There's so many times I do that. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it if people are drunk and they're like, hey, there's some free pizza right here, and just pick it up from from the
Nothing's better than elevator pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we talked about sofa pizza over in The Hangover, but elevator pizza, that hits. It's incredibly gross, and I would say at minimum, if you're going to leave your plate dirty, place fine, leave it on the table. At least the people who do the bus work, they can pick it up there. Some people bring it to their rooms. Okay, let your room steward, take care of it, even though you probably shouldn't. But that's something better to do than just leave it in the hallway.
Yeah, I don't even like leaving the hallway. Yeah. Some people leave in the hallway. I don't even like leaving in the hallway because I've seen so many times where it's just left there for hours and hours. Yeah, I guess they should clean up it, but honestly, I think the best thing is just kind of leave it in your stateroom until they clean it up.
So how about, kind of talking about people doing their jobs on cruise ships being rude to workers? So to me, I think that is probably the most disrespectful thing to do, because not only do these people, they're trained to accommodate to your every single need, but also, and they'll go above and beyond for you as well. But why? Like, these people have it hard enough as it is, and you feel so entitled because you paid for this cruise ship that you're going to be mean to these workers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like these people work really hard. They work literally 7 days a week. They work, I think they said the average is 70 hours a week. So could you imagine having to work that long, and they still some of the nicest people on the cruise ship. And like I said, I don't see why people be rude to them at all.
Just from you and I's perspective, and like I said, I've only been on Carnival and you've been on Carnival and MSC, but I've never had someone be mean to me as a worker.
No, absolutely. I mean, never ever. So I was like, I don't understand why people should be rude to them.
I would say I've seen people get mad when their drink wasn't there in time on a busy bar. I mean, that's understandable from the worker that they couldn't get it in time. Or when someone didn't want to get off the basketball court, they had to call security. But it's these things that these people they're not trying to be mean to you. They're not trying to, let's be honest, they don't really make tons of money doing this either. So they're heavily reliant on tips, and they're heavily reliant, on positive guest satisfaction. So just being rude to them, you're just being a self-entitled brat, and you definitely shouldn't do that. And I kind of brought up tips, so I want to bring this up as well. How about taking tips off?
Yeah, so I know you saw this firsthand when we got off the breeze. Am I right?
Yes, you pointed out there was a line of people at guest relations, and you said that they are all here to take their tips off. I'm like, there's no way, but sure enough. I mean, one, I didn't even know you could do that. So I'm sure that they found out they could do this online, complain they had a, quote, bad experience. And what is Carnival supposed to do? Just tell them, I don't believe you, and then face that sort of negative altercation?
Yeah, because, I mean, technically they can't force you to pay tips because it's gratuities, like if you had a bad experience, you shouldn't have to pay it, which I guarantee you 99% of the people that are taking tips off, they did not have a bad experience. I've never had a bad experience on a cruise when it comes to the workers. They all work really hard, and they all deserve every penny that they get. I know some of them will say, "Oh, I just tipped, the people that I interact with," but man, you're really screwing other people that you didn't interact with, like the housekeepers that wash your bedding, or the people that cook your food. You may have gave money to the wait staff, but there was so much in the background of people like helping you that you didn't even realize it.
We've talked about that in a previous episode where, it's expected you tip the waiters. It's expected you tip the bartenders. It's expected you tip your housekeepers. Like, I would say that's the bare minimum people that you should tip, because that's what you see on a day in, day out basis. And when you take your tips away from your gratuities and you don't tip them, then yeah, I understand it's a tough economy, but these people are trying to make their money too. So, and that kind of leads me to the next point of just being self-entitled. Like, I don't understand. Is it an American thing? Is it I don't know. I'm on vacation. I paid for this. Why are people so dang entitled, Jesse, when it comes to going on a cruise ship, going on vacation?
I feel like that they feel like, almost like in a weird way, they feel like a king because they're getting or king or queen because they're getting fully served. And then so if one thing happens, or they feel like something's not going exactly how they plan it for what they paid for, they freak out, and then they act like it's everyone else's fault. It's not like it's really their fault. They just need to relax.
I just feel like when people go on vacation, they don't act the same way as they do like in a different setting. So you go to the store, you're expected, the people to be nice to you that are checking you out at the grocery store, or you go to a restaurant, the server be nice to you. They mess up, you talk to the manager, so and so on. But on a cruise, I just feel like maybe because you paid so much money, depending on how much you paid, you're expecting a certain level of service, and if you're not getting that, you're going to be upset. So that's maybe, I guess, where I feel that entitlement comes from. But at the end of the day, these people, like we said earlier in the show, they're just here to serve you, and they will bend over backwards for you. So it's not like these people are not trying to do good things for you. But so there's just no need to feel that sort of entitlement. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just relax, enjoy your vacation. It's not going to go perfect. Just go with the flow.
So one more thing that you and I kind of wanted to bring up was when you're at port. Now, you and I kind of see port days differently. So I know you're not exactly a big port fan. So when you get off the ship, hey, I saw it and I want to go back on and go, get my free drinks and eat my free food.
Yeah, basically that's how I am. But not a lot of people don't manage their time when at port for a couple of reasons. First off, everyone's seen the pier runners, right?
Oh my goodness!
You're running down. If you've been on multiple ships before, you can see right when it gets time for them to leave. You see, everyone goes to that side of the ship and they're watching. And as soon as someone walks by, they may not be a pier runner. Everyone starts clapping and cheering you on because you're considered a pier runner at that point.
I mean, that's a free show that Carnival doesn't even have to, pay anyone to operate. That's just, drunk people doing stupid things, or people just lost track of time.
I'm sure Norwegian would find a way to charge you.
Oh, yeah, you have to get chair seats next to the balconies. Yeah, I mean, that's one way to nickel and dime someone. Yeah, I think being a pier runner, it's set in stone what time the ship leaves. You are told to be back at a certain time. Now, if there's issues with excursion you're happening, like so you ran into traffic or whatever, you know, you will be notified by, and they will notify Carnival about this, and you know,
only if it was like an actual Carnival like excursion, like you purchase it through Carnival, is the only way that they're going to wait for you. If they don't wait for you, they actually have to. I did find this out, that they will actually pay for you to get to your next port to get back on the ship. So if there's any travel related to that, but another thing is like you're saying, I like to stay on the ship, but there's so much to do at ports, and like, you know, don't drink so much that you have trouble getting back to the ship. Like,
we've seen those videos of people like kind of staggering on the pier.
Or I see like they're in the wheelchair, like they're being literally wheelchair, like someone wheelchairs them down and they just get them on the ship. I'm sure they walk them to the bedroom. They sleep for the rest of the day, I'm sure.
Hey, those all-inclusive drinks at Mr. Sancho's, you know, they hit pretty hard. But somehow, you know, we made it to dinner. But yeah, utilizing your time when you're at port is probably one of the best ways you can, you know, not only maximize your time down there, but also be kind and courteous to others, so that way you're not having to run back to the ship. But that'll do it for this week's episode of the Lido Loop. As always, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts, Facebook, YouTube too. And we do have the Facebook page. We are the Lido Loop. I'm Jack. That's Jesse, and we will see you
on the Lido deck,
or watching those pier runners barely make it back to the ship in time.
Thank you for watching this episode of Lido Loop. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're notified every time we post more content.